Okay, so in Tuscany it's winter cold, but also here in Le Marche, honestly. So, okay, thank you. I'm very excited that, that you accepted my invitation. So, super, super excited. So, let's start. And I think a lot of people knows you because you are now a very popular cook writer, a great cook. I'm not saying chef because you don't define you like
Yes,
as
you're
a
right.
chef.
You're right.
Yeah. And then you also do cook classes and so on. You have been doing this for a long time, really long time. How many years that you're cooking? That's what I want
Well,
to
cooking a little bit long. I've been teaching classes for 16 years in May, so
say. Yeah.
16 years is my first cooking class. It's 14 years as a full-time job, so a cooking class teacher as a full-time job,
Wow.
and I've been cooking since I was a kid, but that was very spontaneous, let's say. So
Yeah,
uh, that was very, not something planned.
yeah, that's something that I wanted to ask you, but probably you already answered. So, what's I mean, when did you start? When you realized that cooking was something that could be the central part of your life?
I would say since high school
Okay.
was my safe harbor. So when you attend, high school, university, I was very shy, and so whenever there were parties, I was always in the kitchen. I was always the one bringing food
Oh,
because that would make me feel, self-confident. That was
yeah.
something I was sure about. Then during university, I was dreaming about, that was baking
What
at the
did you
time.
study, by the way, at university?
Marketing and communication, so something,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
not connected to food, but still.
Yeah.
But
Nowadays.
I was not planning to work with food. I started my blog 17 years ago in 2009.
Yeah, I see
It was
that.
February
Wow.
2009. And this is when something switched. So I realized that writing about food, cooking, um, talking about food could be something more than a passion. And it took me a couple of years to turn this into a, a plan, not just a dream. So to have a plan, to have steps I wanted to follow to turn this into a job. And yeah, it took me a couple of years.
Wow. So cooking is really much part of your life.
Yes.
So what does cooking represent in your life today?
Today,
I mean, what I want to say is
it's
only work, but something still.
it's work. It's what I do when I want to relax. It's what I do when I want to have fun. It's when I want to connect with someone. Like when I don't know
Yes.
what to do with my daughter. She's almost 6. We connect while we cook. She's not, I mean, passionate about cooking, but she enjoys cooking dinner with me, doing simple preparations. So when I'm sad, I cook. When I'm happy, I cook. It's
Yeah.
something that I use to express my feelings, to express my love, care, passion, curiosity. So it's still a big part of my life, even if this is also my
Mm.
job.
Okay. And then the other question that I want to ask about you starting to cook and to have this blog. Then did you think right away that you wanted to speak to a foreigners
No,
public?
no.
Because that's
Uh,
something, yeah.
I started my blog, and my second post was about, I remember, spring rolls or carrot vegetables, because I was still living with my parents, and so my freedom, like my corner of freedom in the kitchen, was cooking something that was not Italian. So it was adventurous. I wanted to
That's
try,
okay.
new recipes, new ingredients, and the
Mm.
blog helped me to discover new ingredients, new cuisines. Then what
Yeah.
happened? I had many friends, foreign friends, and they were asking me for recipes, Tuscan recipes in English, and my blog was in Italian for a couple of months, just in Italian. Then I started blogging about Tuscan food in Italian and in English, and this is when I fell in love again. I mean, not again. I fell in love for the first time with Tuscan food because I've always given that for granted. But when
That's
you
what.
start looking at the food you grew up with fresh eyes, then yeah, I fell in love with Tuscan food.
As an Italian, I know what you
Yeah,
mean. As an Italian also that lived abroad for many years and came back to Le Marche, so I know exactly what you mean. So And then with these international readers, how changed so your way to see the Italian culture and the food? It's like rediscovering something
It's
because
like
yeah,
rediscovering and not giving for granted
yeah,
habits, traditions, even the simplest recipes. Because I
exactly.
realized that either the most simple recipes are those that are most surprising. So what I give for granted is what for someone else is extremely new, fresh, a new take on an ingredient. So yeah, it helped me to look at everyday food and everyday life with a different perspective.
Yeah, it's the same for the culture, I think,
Yeah.
for the Tuscan culture, because especially today coming from Tuscany, it's like, oh, Tuscany, everyone
Yeah.
talks. I think for you, it's even, more than for me, like, oh my gosh, this Tuscany, but then you can rediscover something
Yes,
doing this
exactly.
job, which every day, I think now, because you're doing this every day. So it's like
Yes.
rediscovering something every day. So that's great. And what do you think foreigners people, what do they get about Italian food, even more than Italians? And if is there anything that they miss?
Um, no, I think first of all they are very curious. So
Yeah.
that's what is really helping because sometimes we are not curious about our everyday life or our cuisine. We do not research origins. We are not surprised by ingredient pairings. So they do have curiosity on their side. What they're missing, not everything is romantic. Not everything is aperitivo on a terrace. Sometimes they miss the daily life. Sometimes they miss an Italian life that can be challenging, can be boring, can be counterintuitive. They're missing what is not romanticized, and that is
Yeah.
maybe a big part of our daily life.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to come, of course, speak about your book. And also, when was the first time that you thought about writing a book?
The first time that I lived through Tessa Kiro's cookbooks, so this was before my blog. No, uh, almost the same. So 2009, 2010, I bought her first cookbooks, and I was like, wow, this is what a good cookbook is. Stories, beautiful photos,
Yeah,
incredible recipes that were working. It was like entering into someone's life. It was not just a manual, a collection of recipes. It
yeah,
was a piece of life. And this
yeah,
is when I realized, wow, that this is incredible. I would love to do something like this. Of course, it took me years to even put these ideas in words and to understand what I really wanted to do. But that was the moment when I realized that writing a cookbook could be amazing. Yeah.
and indeed, your new book. So, why this book matter to you, and what you think about all this process and all this year, and then you arrive at this book. If I read reviews, people saying amazing thing about your book, like it's like being with you. Someone said that I read, and really like someone said, wow, it's lovely to read the book, and the recipe are just amazing. I can I can make this recipe perfectly. So what do you think about this? Why it matters so much? What do you think changed in this book that maybe
Uh,
wasn't in the books? I don't know.
so I think this is the most. Uh, I mean, you always think your last book is the best one. So I can
Yeah,
say this
sure,
is the
because
best one because it's
yeah,
the
the,
last one. But
evolution
also,
revolution.
yeah, but also because this was born out of listening to my students.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I was just open to their ideas, to their requests, to what they were surprised by during my cooking classes. And usually, it's the sheer amount of vegetables I use while I cook, and the incredible recipes, all based on vegetables. And
Mm.
if you have a superficial knowledge of Italian cuisine or Tuscan cuisine, you think it's based on pasta and meat, while there are so many vegetables, and
Yeah.
they are not noticed on a menu. They are not known. So I wanted to write a book that would feel 100% Italian. So the first feeling you would have living through the book is this is Italian food, but it was not um, with the usual recipes. So I wanted to bring a freshness to the recipes, but that they could still feel 100% Italian. And I think this worked because
I
I
think this is
listened.
very difficult, and I think that's a great balance because create something that is different,
Yeah.
and at the same time gives this Italianness, this feeling of
Yes.
Italian.
Yes.
So it's
Because
nice.
our previous cookbook, Cucina Povera, a book I still love, and I think it's still 100% Italian. But the perception of the book sometimes is like, this is not Italian food. It is. No, it is Italian food. It's not what you think about Italian food. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. So with this book, I wanted to be sure to convey this Italianness, but not with the usual recipes. And I
Okay.
think this is what really works with this book.
Which one was the vegetables that inspired you the most when you thought, with these vegetables I can do this? This can become a book and a series of recipes.
Tomatoes. I mean, let's say summer vegetables, because it's when really I love winter and I love autumn, but I love to say that I have a love affair with summer ingredients, because it's not my favorite season, but definitely it's my favorite season to cook. And so summer vegetables, tomatoes, eggplants, zucchini,
Yeah.
yeah. But then of course, then you get into the colder months and you have to think about recipes with cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli. And that was interesting as well, because you try to express an Italianness through ingredients that you don't usually associate with Italian food.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Can I say something between about we're talking about vegetables that when I want to be very chef at home, I mean chef cook at home, we have guests. You know, which is the plate that very often I make in the winter is your ravioli with beetroot.
Ah!
Remember this one? I love them.
That's great. They're simple, but they're
I
impressive for
love
the
them too.
color. Yeah.
What you suggest to put inside that I know that now you and cheese aren't, but okay.
But still.
Ricotta and these nuts, and then also I think an herb. What do
Uh,
you?
Thyme,
Okay.
maybe
Yeah,
thyme.
yeah,
Yeah.
thyme. Oh my gosh, that's incredible! And every time I'm making myself super cool whenever I want to. So, so what is your creative process to build a cookbook? Because I know that you work with your husband, but I think is a big part as well of your business, your work. So, and especially because there is the two of you, what's the
Yeah.
creative process? Because
So
it's not
once you have the idea of the book, you have a theme, and then we try to work on recipes. First of all, you think about recipes, and you try to put them into hypothetical chapters. Then chapters may vary, so you can change completely the organization of the book, the structure,
yeah.
or you might add or remove some chapters. So it really depends. With
Mm.
Cucina Povera and with vegetables, the Italian way, we started with an idea and also with an idea of a structure of the book, and the structure remained. So with the first one is a kind of principles of the Italian cuisine. So every chapter tries to illustrate a principle. While with vegetables, the Italian way, we try to have every chapter focused on a technique. Could be braising, could be frying or toasting and stirring for salads and so on. And then you try to add recipes there, I think recipes you think might be interesting for that chapter. And then you try to see if they are equally distributed. If they are in the same number, like you have to have an average number of recipes per chapter, they have to be homogeneous.
Yeah.
And then not, easily distributed through the seasons. So not for recipes for summer and 10 for winter. So I try to have 5 and 5. Same with appetizers, first course, and then main course, and side dishes and desserts. And you always try to have a recipe with chocolate, because that's something you want in a book, at least a recipe with chocolate. And so it's a matter of, a lot of Excel files with recipes, ideas, and then you try to cross-reference them and see if they work together. And then eventually you start testing the recipes.
Yeah.
and writing the book. And when you test recipes, some recipes work, others are not as exceptional as you think, because you have a fixed number of recipes for the book. It can
Yeah.
vary, 3 to more or
Yeah.
less. But then you don't want to put a recipe that you are not 100% sure in the book, because that would be using 2 pages for something that maybe is not exceptional. So you remove that recipe and you search for a new one, because you want every recipe to have the reason to be there.
Okay, great. Wow, it's a long. How many times do you try a recipe? Like
It really depends. Sometimes at least 2 or 3 times.
yeah,
Sometimes more if they require more testing.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
usually I have a recipe tester that so she tests recipes that she doesn't
Wow.
know. So that's a good thing, because when I test my recipe, I know what to expect. So you need someone who is new to the recipe and tries the recipe for the first time, and see if the ingredients work, if the technique works, if the flowing of the steps work.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Wow, that's great to be a recipe tester anyway. Nice job. So in all of these, I wanted to, yeah, what I love about you, because there is this balance between being Italian, but also being Toscan, but at the same time, be able to communicate in a way that is so international and so gentle. So yes, I'm a big fan of you. That's what
Thank
is
you.
clear. So, and I wanted to ask you something more like, let's say, more personal. Like, how do you balance all this creativity, work, presence, storytelling? I mean, how do you do that?
Balance is a big word. I'm
Yeah,
not
I know.
very balanced.
I know.
I think the best thing is to be true to yourself, because if you fake an identity, then it's extremely tiring to be
Yeah.
consistent. So I try to be online with the same person I'm offline. I have, my privacy for some parts, I don't share everything about my life. I usually share the part where you have your personal life and then you have food at the intersection, personal life and food. That is what I share, because that's the focus. That's the perspective I want to talk about my life.
Yeah.
So even if when I talk about my daughter, I talk about our relationship through food, or her relationship with food,
Yeah.
or the recipes she likes, and so on. Same with my life, and my life with Tommaso, our work together. So I share what is connected to food, and that's a big help, because this helps me to understand what I will share and what not.
Just put some
And
boundaries.
then
Yeah.
if it's I share something that is always real, so I don't have to fake something. So, and I think one of the biggest compliments is when someone joins one of our cooking classes and they say, "You're exactly as I was imagining," and that's the best
I
compliment,
mean,
because
that's the
it
most
means I'm
important
the
thing to do.
same online and offline.
Yeah, that's great. And I wanted to ask, what is essential for you around the table? I mean, after all these years of connection, and what's for you is very important around the table?
Olive oil on the table.
That's
Olive
really
oil,
time to be done.
extra virgin olive oil. I think it's the pleasure of sharing, the pleasure of sharing food. It's not impressing someone. When I cook for someone, it's not to impress them. It's to uh, take care of them, to nurture them, to take care of them through food. So now all my recipes try to meet my guests, my friends, my students where they are. So we are growing. We were talking about this with my friends the other day. We've been knowing each other for, I don't know, 15 years, and we changed it a lot. 15 years ago, our meals were heavy, full of cheese, and greasy, when you're young. Now we are all in our 40s, and so
Careful.
preferences change. And so I cook different food. I think I cook something that we all can appreciate and can make us feel good, energized after the meal, not too heavy. And the same with my guests during cooking classes. When I started 15 years ago, I was trying to impress them, to stuff them with food. And now I want to offer them the best experience when they, they after the whole meal, they walk out and they might have, okay, maybe we can have a walk in San Gimignano and have a gelato, after in a couple of hours, because I don't want to kill them with food. I want to give them a great experience with food and show them how food can also make you feel great and, energized and, still full of life. Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily feel like
Bloating.
and then asleep
So,
on the couch.
yeah.
Yes. Then another thing that I wanted to ask you, what's for you? It's um, everyday ritual maybe that Italians have that you are afraid or worried that is going to disappear? Because when we talk with foreigners, but Italians people, they maybe they're changing their way of eating. What you think? And is there anything that you think you would be sad that is going to disappear? Maybe we not, but
Well, one thing, for years we had our coffee with the coffee machine with pods, and 2 years ago we went back to the mocha
I
pot.
love
Now
the
this
yes.
is a little ritual that I love in the morning. It's maybe so fashionable, but it's more sustainable, and I love this so much that we introduced that into our cooking classes as well. So we moved from the espresso machine to the mocha pots at the end of the class, because I love this little ritual.
It's a
You
great
take your
answer.
time. You take your time making the coffee. It's not, press a button, you have coffee. You wait until the coffee comes out of the mocha pot and you smell the
Yeah.
coffee coming
Oh,
out. And sometimes, my mom comes here in the morning and she smells the coffee. Oh, can I have a little, a drop of coffee, a finger, un dito di caffè, a
yeah,
finger of
un
coffee.
dito.
And so I think something you don't say if you make an espresso, because the espresso comes and goes. And the mocha pot, the smell, it lingers for
Process.
longer. Yeah. So I would
There
say
are
that.
different ideas how much coffee you have to put, and if you have
Yeah.
to press it or not. Everyone has a different idea.
Yeah. You
If
have to
put
wash the
coffee-
mocha pot. Definitely wash it.
Don't,
Definitely wash it.
So yes, this was a great answer, especially for me that I would when I was in the UK, one thing that I couldn't really give up was my mocha. Like my mocha was bringing me to Italy every morning. So
Yeah.
this is an amazing answer, Giulia.
Yeah.
So honestly, I asked you all the questions that I prepared. That we were quick. And I don't know, there are a lot of people here. I don't know if someone wants to ask you something. Maybe someone would like to write something. We are here, and Giulia, I'm sure, is going to be happy to answer.
Yeah, sure.
And when are you going to have your next cooking classes, Giulia?
Next cooking class is Tuesday, because I had a class on Monday and yesterday. So Tuesday,
Are
next
you do
cooking class.
also online or just
Online, we do online classes through the newsletter, and the next one, which is cook along, will be at the end of May. I think the last Sunday in May. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, about your newsletter, which is a letter from Tuscany, right? And I was like, oh my God, I know
Yeah.
about it. And this is something that I really love. And I used to love your podcast. I know you stopped your podcast, but
Well, we are coming back with new episodes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I love it. Don't change the title because I also love
No.
the title. And yes, that's it. And I hope everyone is going to enjoy your book, buy your book,
Thank
and
you.
cook
Thank
through
you so
your
much.
book. And thank you very much from Le Marche.
Thank you. It's been lovely talking with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Giulia. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Thank you.